10 groups, songs you still know every word to.
Don't always come true.
Harmonies so tight they felt like family, because they were family. Brothers, cousins, childhood friends who swore nothing would ever come between them. Then the record dropped. Then the charts moved. Then Motown called. The labels came. The money showed up. And everything they built started to crack.
Give me a new beginning. Oh, baby, yeah.
Egos that fame made impossible to shrink. Royalties that disappeared into somebody else's pocket. Lead singers who outgrew the group that made them. Groups that collapsed the moment the spotlight got bright enough to show who they really were. By the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why some songs hurt to listen to. Let's go. Number 10, The Sylvers, Boogie Fever, 1976. They were 10 siblings, 10, and they were supposed to be untouchable. The Sylvers had been performing since the eldest could walk the youngest to the stage. By the mid-70s, they had 2 generations in the group, the original siblings and their younger brothers and sisters filling in behind them. Then, Boogie Fever hit in 1976. Number 1 pop, number 1 R&B, disco gold. What can it be? Is it they call it Boogie Fever. But behind the lights, the family was fracturing. And now, the record label wanted to spotlight the youngest faces. Leon, Ricky, Pat, the cute ones, the marketable ones, the ones who hadn't done the grinding. The rift between the older and younger siblings became impossible to hide. Creative decisions turned into arguments. Arguments turned into silence. And when Boogie Fever faded from the radio, so did the family's will to hold it together. By the late 70s, the Sylvers had splintered. 10 voices that once made something beautiful couldn't stay in the same room. The song outlasted the family that made it. And something about that just doesn't feel right. Before we continue, can I ask you for a small favor? Only a tiny percentage of the people watching this channel are actually subscribed. That means more than 95% of you enjoy the videos but haven't joined the family yet. And honestly, that part stings a little. Videos like this don't just happen. They take hours of digging through old records, researching artists, double-checking facts, restoring audio, writing scripts, and editing visuals, all to bring back memories and give these songs the respect they deserve. If this channel has ever helped you rediscover a forgotten track, made you smile, relax, or feel a little nostalgic, that's exactly why it exists. So before we move on, take just a second to hit subscribe. It's completely free, but it truly means the world to us. It tells YouTube that this music still matters and that the work behind these videos is worth supporting. All right, now let's get back to the music. Number 9. Renee and Angela, Save Your Love for number 1, 1983. Renee Moore and Angela Wimbush, 2 musicians, 2 writers, 2 people who were genuinely brilliant, separately and together. Their chemistry on Save Your Love for number 1 was undeniable. But here's the thing about partnerships built on creative genius. 2 visionaries in the same room eventually start fighting over the wheel. Renee and Angela were both composers, both producers, both with strong ideas about direction. For a while, the tension made the music better. That creative friction had heat. then it just had friction. By 1986, Angela Winbush went solo and proved exactly how talented she was. Writing and producing hits for Stephanie Mills, the Isley Brothers, and eventually launching her own successful career. Renee kept working in the industry too. They were both fine, but that thing they made together, that was over. Sometimes the most talented people in the room can't share it, and the duo that gave you one of the smoothest R&B records of the decade couldn't survive their own gifts. Number 8, Bloodstone, Never Let You Go, 1973.
My mind has been blown to bits.
Before there was Quiet Storm Radio, there was Bloodstone. 5 friends from Kansas City who moved to London in the early 70s because the UK was hungry for exactly what they were making.
Stay with me, always stay. Please don't go away. And in return,
Lush harmonies, slow-burning soul, music that felt like candlelight. Never Let You Go in 1973 was everything they'd been building toward. They should have been set, but the group was caught in a trap too many black artists knew too well.
I didn't stand a prayer, and you came along.
The records charted, the tours were full, the label was happy, but the money didn't match the receipts. Royalty disputes, accounting that never quite added up. Success should have been freedom. Instead, it was just a longer chain.
My mind has been blown to bits.
By the mid-70s, lineup changes began. The chemistry that made the music shifted. They kept recording, they kept touring, but that feeling, the one on Never Let You Go, it was gone, and they never got it back.
To stay with me, always stay. Please don't go away. And in return,
Number 7, Groove Theory, Tell Me, 1995.
Ooh, yeah. Let me hear you.
Bryce Wilson had the beat, Amel Laurier had the voice. Together, they had one of the most hypnotic R&B singles of the entire decade. Tell Me in 1995 was different. Not just good, different.
That timing, but what? But to my great surprise, ever since I looked.
Something in Amel's delivery, something in the way the production breathed. It hit number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was everywhere. It was inescapable. And Groove Theory had exactly one album. That was it. No dramatic blow-up, no betrayal story, no tragedy. Just 2 artists who were fundamentally pointed in different directions.
But, sweetheart, now it's time that I let you know.
Bryce wanted to keep building Groove Theory as a brand. Amel wanted to go somewhere else entirely, somewhere more personal, more jazz-influenced, more her. She was right, by the way. Her solo work was stunning.
Ooh, yeah. Let me hear you.
But Tell Me was lightning in a bottle, the kind that only happens once with those 2 people in that moment. And when the moment passed, neither of them reached for it again. The song still sounds like 1995 feels. The group only ever existed there.
You know, I can make you so good, so good.
Number 6, Heatwave, Boogie Nights, 1977. This one is different. This isn't a story about ego or money or growing apart. This is a story about people who got hit by the world over and over and still massive. Number 2 pop. But tragedy had already arrived before the ink dried on the hit. Guitarist Jesse Witten was stabbed to death in Chicago before the sessions even finished. Replaced, mourned, and the music industry kept moving. Then, Bassist Mario Monte attended a party. His girlfriend grew furious over something that happened there. She stabbed him in the heart. He was clinically dead for many minutes. He woke from a coma months later, blind, mute, paralyzed. And then, in 1979, lead singer Johnny Wilder Jr. suffered a car accident that left him paralyzed from the neck down.
Get that groove, let it take you higher.
3 catastrophes, one after another. Johnny still produced from a wheelchair. The group still recorded with replacement singers, because what else do you do when the music is all you have left? But by the early 80s, the original Heatwave, that impossible international collision of souls, had been scattered across hospital rooms and continents. The song plays at every disco night. The people who made it never got to stand on stage together again. Some stories don't have villains, just the world doing what it does. Number 5, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Midnight Train to Georgia, 1973.
To the light he once knew. Oh, yes, he did. He said he would.
Close your eyes and hear that opening. L.A. proved too much for the man. That voice, that train whistle, those harmonies. Midnight Train to Georgia is one of the greatest records ever made.
I'd better live in his world than live.
Grammy winner, number 1 for 2 weeks. A song that will outlive every person listening to this. And Gladys Knight spent years trying to outrun what success did to her group. The Pips weren't just a backing group. They were her family. 2 decades of shared struggle, shared tours, shared everything.
To the light he once knew. Oh, yes, he did. He said he would.
But after Motown, after Butter Records, after Midnight Train made Gladys the star of every room she walked into, the machinery of the music industry started doing what it always does. It started trying to separate her from them. Solo deals dangled, more money if she went alone, more control, more of the spotlight that was already hers anyway.
Left us the world he left behind.
Gladys resisted for years, but in 1989, she finally signed a solo deal with MCA. The Pips, her brother, her cousins, were left without a label. They tried to record independently. It didn't land.
I'd better live in his world than live.
And in 1989, after nearly 40 years of performing together, the Pips retired. Gladys went on to more success, more hits, more recognition, and she's spoken honestly about the weight of that decision. Because you can have a career, or you can have your people, and sometimes the industry won't let you have both.
Left us the world he left behind.
Number 4, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. If you don't know me by now, 1972.
If you don't know me.
Let's be honest about something. Teddy Pendergrass made that record. Harold Melvin built the group. He had the name, the connections, but when Teddy stepped to the microphone in 1972 and sang If You Don't Know Me By Now, every person who heard it understood immediately who the Blue Notes were now.
If you don't know me by now, just
That raw, desperate, pleading tenor. Nobody could look away. The record went to number 1 R&B, crossed over pop, became a standard, and Harold watched all of it happen from behind a man he'd recruited.
think that we've been.
For 3 years, the tension simmered under the surface. Teddy was the draw. Teddy was what the crowd came for, but Harold controlled the business, the bookings, the money, and Teddy felt every bit of it. In 1975, Teddy walked. He didn't just leave the group, he took the audience with him.
You'll never, never, never know me.
His first solo album was a phenomenon. Wake Up Everybody, Close the Door. He became one of the biggest names in R&B until a devastating car accident in 1982 left him paralyzed. And even then, he continued performing, recording, commanding rooms from a wheelchair until his death in 2010.
Just ain't no way.
Harold kept the Blue Notes going with new singers. They had moments, but nothing like what they'd been. Because here's what Harold Melvin may never have fully accepted. He didn't just lose his lead singer, he lost the reason people were listening. And the song that made them famous? It sounds like Teddy Pendergrass. It will always sound like Teddy Pendergrass.
Never, never know me.
Number 2, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Someday We'll Be Together, 1969.
Now, sweet babe, I made a big mistake.
There's a cruelty buried in this story that nobody talked about for decades. Someday We'll Be Together was the last Supremes record with Diana Ross, November 1969, number 1 pop, their 12th number 1, a record that stood for years.
Yes, we will, yes, we will. Someday we'll.
And Florence Ballard, one of the original 3, the woman who named the group, had already been gone for 2 years. She'd been pushed out in 1967, replaced while the hits were still coming. And she didn't just lose the group, she lost everything. The contract she'd signed gave her almost nothing.
Now, sweet babe, I made a big mistake.
Legal battles consumed what little she had. By the early 70s, Florence Ballard, an original Supreme, a woman whose voice is woven into the soundtrack of a generation, was on welfare. She died in 1976, 32 years old. And then there's Mary Wilson. Mary stayed.
All right from the start. You possess my soul.
Mary always stayed. Through Florence's removal, through Diana being elevated and centered and branded above the group name, when Diana finally left in January 1970, it wasn't a surprise. It had been the plan all along. The Supremes continued without her. They had hits. Jean Terrell was extraordinary. But the story everyone tells, the one that gets remembered, is Diana's story.
Just as you're my baby.
And Mary Wilson spent the rest of her life trying to make sure Florence's story got told too. She passed in 2021, the last original Supreme. 3 women who started together in a housing project in Detroit. One became an icon. One died forgotten. One spent decades fighting to be remembered. The song says someday we'll be together, but they never were. Not really. Not after what fame did to them.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Someday.
Number 1, The Miracles, Love Machine, 1975. Before Boyz II Men, before New Edition, before every R&B group that ever existed, there were The Miracles. And before The Miracles, there was Smokey Robinson, a teenager in Detroit with a voice like velvet and a pen that could turn heartbreak into architecture. He built The Miracles around himself in 1955. 20 years of music, 20 years of hits, 20 years of being the foundation that Motown was partially built on. Tears of a Clown, Tracks of My Tears, Ooh Baby Baby. By 1972, he was exhausted. He left the Miracles to go solo, and in that departure, he handed the group a gift and a curse simultaneously.
And let me love you for a little while. Ooh, I'm just a love machine.
Because the gift was freedom, and the curse was his name. The Miracles were good, genuinely. William Mickey Griffin, Billy Griffin, Ron White, Bobby Rogers, they kept going, kept recording, kept performing. And in 1975, without Smokey, they did something nobody expected. Love Machine went to #1 pop, their biggest chart success ever. The Miracles without Smokey Robinson had their first #1 pop hit. And then, nothing. The follow-up records didn't land. The momentum evaporated. Billy Griffin, now the lead voice, went solo in 1982. The lineup kept shifting. The name kept getting licensed and relicensed.
Out of love that's really real.
But here's what breaks your heart about this story. They proved they could do it without him. Right at the end, right when everything was slipping away, they climbed to the very top, #1. And then the music industry looked past them, the way it always looks past groups the moment they're no longer useful. The Miracles had been making music for 20 years when Love Machine hit. 20 years. And they got one moment at the top. One. The songs are still here. If You Don't Know Me By Now plays at weddings and funerals and slow jams radio at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Midnight Train to Georgia still makes people stop whatever they're doing. Love Machine still makes people move.
Save your love for Roma and for me.
The music survived, but the people who made it, they paid a price we never put in the liner notes. Families fractured, friendships destroyed, careers cut short by the industry's indifference, by ego, by tragedy, by the simple and devastating fact that sometimes the most talented people in the room can't figure out how to stay in the same room together.
You'll never, never, never know me.
They gave us the music, and the music took everything else. The next time one of these songs finds you at a cookout, in the car, in a grocery store while you're thinking about something else entirely, maybe take a second. Not just for the song, but for the people behind it. The ones who gave it to us and couldn't hold on to each other long enough to hear us singing it back.
Don't